underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong, and not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to Roll with Advantage. Very excited to dive into tonight's episode of the Salamander Coast. Let's roll the intro and get started.
Yeah, this might be.
For what I'm fucking doing, but I'm trying every fucking day.
I would have never even met you.
Sure, it's very likely repertoire.
are. But
a powerful warrior, which, I definitely agree with you on, but
so and we are back. As is tradition here on Roll Advantage, the DMs do not do the summary, the players do. This week on summary is Mark. Mark, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Boom. Apologies in advance for the sneeze that will eventually come while I read this. Book 10, Chapter 1 of the Salamander Coast. That's where we were last time. The party found themselves back in the throne room of Akai City, standing above Suen's corpse. Guards promptly rushed in, demanding to know what had happened in this place. It was hard to explain, needless to say. There was the whole thing where we killed God. The party's explanation quickly put them at ease, though, as the captain had suspected Draven and Lorokan from the beginning. He took off his armored mask and spoke to Suna, remembering her from when she was young. And after confirming that she understood the responsibilities that she was about to take, he left to prepare a funeral for Suen and the ceremonies necessary for Suna's ascension to Empress. They took a chance to breathe and process everything that they had learned. Ajax and Suni, first off, started talking about losing loved ones and about how Sultana would have a chance to come back before this was all over. And then Ajax spoke to Cecily about the implications of killing the Creator, how they had to find Emerald's simulacrum again, and the lessons she was able to take and apply to her conflict with Odin. I wrote Tyr there instead of Odin. No conflict with Dad. We're good. Odin. Meanwhile, Suni was shown the halls of the dead, a place where they could preserve Sultana's body until she was ready to be resurrected. The party was then welcomed into the Empress's room for visitors, welcome to stay as long as they would like. Bianca took the time to speak to Carasilla, concerned that she was taking the revelations about the Creator the hardest. Carasilla admitted that she knew not what would come of the Children of the Flame when they learned that their god was dead, and that he never loved them in the first place. And yet, life persisted. It seemed that creation could live without its creator, like a child without their parent. She also was grieving Draven, disappointed that he still chose his own demise when other dark friends had proven that they could be saved. Bianca implored her not to take the blame for his own choices, that sometimes people simply cannot be helped. And they went back to join the others as business proceeded. And then, the guards turned in 2 trunks full of Draven's possessions. One contained around 1 million gold, whereas the other contained various magic items and personal letters. The letters, addressed to Hrothgar, Dorian, and Carasilla, seemed like unsent confessions, bearing his soul before the end. The journal, which chronicled his thoughts from his restoration to the days before his death, told the tale of a slow descent into corruption. Meeting Emerald, who he did not seem to know was the Creator, is what really sent him over the edge. He was clearly conflicted throughout, but by the end, he'd lost himself to so much darkness in his quest for power that he decided there was nothing else to do. In hindsight, it seemed his death at the hands of the party was a great relief to him. And finally, there was a map, a marking of various Children of Flame outposts for unknown reasons. They agreed to look into it soon and prepared for bed. Carasilla took a moment to send a letter to the Hidden Flame, telling them the truth about the Creator, and Suni asked her about helping to prepare a song for Sultana's resurrection ritual, before all of them finally went to bed. In the morning, Suna attended to many of her duties, and told the party that their time adventuring together was about to come to an end. She invited them all to her coronation ceremony, but then left them for now, ready to assume the role of repairing the damage her mother had done. Suni then asked Cecily for help in the resurrection as well, wondering if she could learn to perform the dance he and Sultana shared. She agreed, and they practiced with Carosilla to turn the song and dance into a joint offering. Finally, the party met Varnas Telmaru in the temples, laying Sultana's body in a cleansing... Why is plural? Sultana's bodies? God, I gotta write these better. Laying Sultana's body in a cleansing pool of water as he called forth a storm of divine magic. They performed the song and dance, the first two gifts, and then Suni laid down his tiger hook weapons, promising that this cycle would be different and that he would never forsake her again. With all three of these gifts presented, she floated up from the water, and as Suni took her hand and floated up with her, he felt them become one. Her eyes opened, and they embraced with immense joy and relief. The ritual was successful. However, Varnas felt a deep pain once it ended. He explained that divinity itself was beginning to end. Until this was all over, there was a chance that resurrection magic would never be possible again. I didn't sneeze.
All right. Happy you didn't sneeze. Also, oh, there you go. Oh, no, it's just a cough.
Oh, yeah, it was something. All right, we're good.
All righty. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Exactly correct. And that is, it's not exactly where we're going to pick up. We're going to do a little bit of a jump ahead from there. By about a day. All of you have been resting within the bounds of Akai City, just trying to recover from the tumultuous and overwhelming odds that you've been fighting against, and trying to find peace, just a small bit, before you head back out into the world and accomplish whatever you have your mind set on until that vault beneath Akai City is forcibly broken open by that force of darkness. In the meantime, though, you have some semblance of peace here in Akai City. However, 24 hours after the ritual is complete to bring back Sultana, not just those of you that can cast resurrection magic, whether it be Revivify, Raise Dead, True Resurrection, anything like that, but people with any type of magic that pulls energy from a positive energy plane, you can feel something break, something shatters, as that connection to divinity is truly gone. And even those high planes of existence of Mount Celestia and the others, those thrones, you can feel they're empty. You can feel that the gods are dead. Divinity is gone. And death truly means the end. So from this point on, throughout the campaign, from now until the very, very end of it, should your character die, whether it be from power word kill, whether it be from finger of death, disintegrate, or failing 3 death saving throws, they are dead. There's no bringing them back. Revivify doesn't work. Nothing works. All right? Okay. So that is something to keep in mind as you prepare for what could be the end of the world here in about a year and a half, 2 years. But with that, Ajax, Bianca, I know the two of you wanted to have a part in this, but was everybody else also going to question the investors that were within Akai City?
I don't mind tagging along, but I don't know that Cecily would have too much to say. I think she would definitely let them lead.
Okay. Yeah.
Same if it's a group effort, Suni would also tag along. But if it's also not what everybody wants,
That's cool.
Nah, y'all be here in case I make a mistake.
You make a mistake? No. Full confidence.
Impossible.
Well,
you don't have to worry too much. As all of you go as a unit, it makes the job quite easy to be able to determine what people are lying, what people are telling the truth. And of the 20, 30 investors that did flee to Akai, 5 of them did seem to be dark friends. So the real question is, it's not going to be, you guys are level 15 adventurers. It's not hard to find out who's lying. The real question is, what do you do with the 5 individuals that are dark friends?
yeah. I mean, because like traditionally we would, balefire them faces, but like that feels a little politically icky to just remove them. So what should we do, guys? Like, because we could keep them imprisoned, maybe put them on trial. Maybe a trial would be the mood, and then like put balefiring as one of the penalties, depending if they're found like. Because, like, they're guilty.
Do, like,
like
a public trial to then, like,
yeah.
give the people assurance that, yeah, they were dark friends. Like, it's not just you rooting out political opponents or that you need to talk about.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Where are we keeping politician guy that was chained to a wall that we talked to back in Shiroi?
Father Chiroshi.
Father Hiroshi. He's still alive, just hanging out down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just imprisoned.
So, okay. So that to me sets the precedent that, like, balefire is not the only path forward. So I think a public trial is a good move as well, with the threat of balefire hanging over these people should their second chances be squandered.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I like that too. I know John's not currently here, or he is here. I don't know.
I am here. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm having issues.
No, you're good. But yeah, I guess like Gemma said, the public trial, and then it low key is mostly, I think, just like how should we bring them to justice. And then the public can help decide as we put a few options on the table, like imprisonment, balefire. I think those would be at least the main 2, and like maybe the public has the opportunity to present other options if they think it's so necessary.
Service hours, that's it.
I know. I was like, no, community service doesn't feel like enough.
This is definitely a
we can also
max
just-
security situation.
Right.
We can also probably just do imprisonment, honestly, as well. Then it's like equal, like, justice between like how we treated Father Toroshi and how we treat them.
Yeah.
We can start there.
Joe, is that one investor there? Their name is, where is it at? Galena? Galena?
Oh, Galena, yes.
Okay, Ajax is just gonna, without having to like take time on it, tell the party that Investor Galena is the one who covered up the murder of Amelia and sent him away from Bromsgrove. So he wants to put her on trial for murder.
She was also the one behind the heist to steal the egg in Bromsgrove.
I think in general we should put these people on trial and not just do imprisonment, though.
Yeah.
But yes,
yeah, but she can be
Galena.
tried for many crimes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just because this is a pretty serious offense to, like, existence. So
Is there any
It's like,
other?
especially. No offense, 'cause I
Yeah.
feel like they've murdered a lot of people, like collectively.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
No, yeah, I think people will be very understanding of the lack of leniency with these things, considering that everybody just saw tendrils descend from the sky and felt God die. I am just out of curiosity, are there any other faces we recognize, Joe? Because I know we were working with a resplendent half-orc investor man back in Reachka, and I just He's not here, right? He's not a dirty backstabber.
No. No,
Nice.
none of the other people here you
He's a good one.
recognize. Yeah.
Oh, so Rose isn't here.
Rose is not here now.
Uh-oh.
Rose did not flee.
Okay, so
As far as you know,
she's
Rose
going
is still
somewhere?
in. As far as you know, Rose is still in Jormungandr.
Oh, right. Probably gotta tell Odin about that.
Well, I mean,
Let's
yeah, it's
tell him after some other stuff happens.
No. You, Cecily, you handle that. Handle how you want.
We can, yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it to the
Okay.
giant dads.
Okay. I mean, I feel like that kind of wraps that up a little bit. Like, obviously, like, Bianca would, like, follow through with this, and, like, obviously anyone else who wants to do that, too, but... Yeah. I think that solves it for right now, at least.
Okay, sounds good. So, with that, the prisoners are chained, and they will be sent back to Belka and imprisoned there until a trial can be held for them. All right.
And anyone who wasn't a dark friend and just were shitty money people, they are welcome to return to the Old Kingdom under the precedent that they basically will not have what they had before, and this is how things will be working now. So I don't know how many would want to come back, but
they do have
There-
to do community service hours.
There are 0 that willingly return.
sick nasty.
None of them want to do minimum wage labor.
No, they're all going to go to the gemstone, and they're going to abuse those people instead.
Right.
Yeah,
Send
dude.
them somewhere else for other issues.
That's hey, it's a free market down there.
That's not our campaign. We're fine.
Yeah.
That's exactly where they want to be.
The wardens are going to be like, where did all these people come from?
Where are these
Where are
assholes
all these Duradine Dupree looking motherfuckers?
Sorry, wardens.
It's okay.
Yeah.
They can handle it.
Yeah, I feel like in the tier list of D&D villains, a couple more like Elon Musk's is not the biggest deal.
Yeah.
I can handle that.
Okay. Alrighty. So, handling all of that in the morning, later in the afternoon, Suna will come find all of you and will say, I just wanted to let all of you know that tomorrow evening is going to be the Ascension ritual, and I would really love for all of you to be there with me. I understand you might have things you want to accomplish back home, but before you leave, I'd at least like you to be there for that.
Of course. I think I...
Good. Okay. Perfect. All right, there's still a lot to take care of, so I'll let you all get your rest, but I'll see you tomorrow. And with that, she'll turn and leave, continuing with her procession, readying for tomorrow. Okay.
That's right. We're still in Akai City, right?
You are, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. But the evening comes, you rest for the evening, morning, and from the morning to the afternoon, there are various tailors and guards and servants of the Akai throne that are in and out of your rooms all day, trying to make sure that all of you have just the right clothing items, just the right accessories, just the right everything to make sure that not a thing is out of place. Adarashi and Akai especially, they are ceremonial places where their ceremonies and their structures and how everything works is very important to them. So all of you being respectful, decent human beings, I'm assuming you're trying your best to accommodate to what they're trying to throw at you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, the various clothing items and pieces that are customary for the chosen champions of the Empress, which is a phrase that keeps getting thrown around towards all of you that you're not exactly sure about. But they keep referring to all of you as that. But eventually, the day comes and passes, and evening arrives. And you can see Commander Riku, the commander of the guard of the Empress, wearing, as I had said before, very similar armor to what you had seen, Carasilla, that Iseo had worn, many years ago. Just more modernized, a little more sleek. But he will come into the room after all of you have been dressed and ready, and will say,
"Well, if all of you are ready, you can follow me. And the ascension ceremony will begin once you and the spirit consort arrive. So please follow me."
And he'll turn and begin to walk out, and all of you follow along behind him. You end up leaving the keep within Akai City and making your way through the city itself until you get to you arrive at what looks to be like a temple. Placed in the middle of the city, there's a large pond in front of it, and you can see that the building itself matches the architectural style and colors of the rest of the city. The bright, brilliant whites with reds and golds, as well as the pink cherry blossom trees that currently have the petals fall and drift into the pond below. You can see crowds of people gather around. And above, at the top of the steps, right in the front of the temple, you can see a throne. A much more extravagant one. It has these coiling, swirling, serpentine salamanders and dragons that coil all around each other, forming this intricate carved pattern within the throne itself. It currently sits empty, except, well, no, right now it is empty. Go ahead and move you to. That's kind of what you're looking at.
So pretty.
Yes, thank you.
It's gorgeous. Hello.
So, as all of you, arrive, you step up the stairs, and Commander Riku, he tells you where to stand, flanking the throne. And there is a silence that envelops the area, till eventually all you can hear is the wind rustling against the petals in the trees. And you hear this dull music begin to play in the distance as all of you know, Suna is beginning her approach. So in this serene and what all of you can tell, very sacred place, all of you can see just from your connection to the ethereal plane going back and forth, but especially you, Carasilla, the trees near here, there are these small spirits that just barely fade into existence during this moment that's not only a symbol of political power, but of spiritual power, a sort of spiritual leader in the land of Adarashi. A lot of the bark of the cherry blossom trees begins glowing gold in various places. And as all of you look up, as Suna begins to approach, You can see up in the sky above where she would probably be, Ara, the salamander of Atarashi, is flying above in the air. You can see Commander Riku. He steps forward and he begins to speak. By the decree of the spirits and lineage of our forebears, we gather here in solemn reverence to witness the ascension of Suna, daughter of Suen, of the blood of Takahiro, the first emperor of Atarashi. Today we honor the ancient pact binding the realms of Opokami, Shiroi, and Akai under the watchful eyes of the spirits. And by this point, Suna has made her way to the pathway that leads directly to the temple. And she's visible by all as everyone looks upon her. Riku looks down to her as she begins to ascend the steps and says, Suna, you stand before us here, not merely as a descendant, but you have become a beacon of hope, a promise to the spirits and the people of this land. The Akai throne is more than a seat of power, it is a covenant with the spirits, a solemn vow to rule with wisdom, compassion, and unwavering justice. You can see in Suna's hands as she now arrives, standing right in front of him, but lower on the steps. She's wearing her traditional garb that you had seen her wear before at the ceremony in Shiroi, but tied to her waist she has a sword. Strangely. You can see that it's very finely made. It has a wrap of red and white, and it has the mark of a blacksmith that none of you would be able to recognize. But you can see he's handed a crown, a very simple one of leaves and twigs with cherry blossoms coming off of it, a bond with the spirits. And he lifts this delicate circlet, the golden branches, the pink leaves, and small gems woven within them. He places it upon Suna's head, and you can see the gems on the crown begin to glow as it resonates with her spirit. And Karasilla, you especially can see all of the spirits begin to move closer as he says, in this sacred moment, I crown you, Suna, Empress of Atarashi. May your reign be guided by the spirits, and your heart remain true to the unity and prosperity of our lands. With that, he steps back, he bows deeply, and Suna steps forward and turns to face the people. By the power vested in you, and with the blessings of the spirits, you are now the guardian of the Yakai throne, the unifier of our clans, and the protector of Atarashi. You can see that as he bows, all of the other people bow all around throughout the crowd. She looks down towards all the people, and she looks to all of you with a very deep smile, and then looks down to the sword at her waist and grips it tightly and says, I accept this sacred duty with honor and humility. I vow to serve the spirits and the people, to uphold the legacy of my ancestors, and to guide Atarashi towards a future of peace and unity. And you can see she draws the sword at her side, and she holds it out And you can see there is an engraving along the base of the blade. And as she reads it to herself before continuing, all of you can see that it says very simply, no matter the distance, we will always be together. And she continues to finish out her speech and says, together, with the spirits as our witness, we shall forge a path of harmony and strength for the honor of Atarashi. And she'll take the sword and sheathe it, and all of you can see, all of you can now hear also the spirits' whispers rise in this like harmonious chorus as the spirits bless Suna. Her sword begins to glow as well, and all of you can see a final spirit place a hand along her side and hold her. As not just all of you, but the people can see her spirit consort, Yuki, stand beside her. And as the ceremony concludes and the spirits begin to fade, the glow in the sword does not vanish. There's this profound silence that follows. And you can see that for the first time in a very long time, many of the people here in Akai, and you can feel it throughout all of Atarashi, feel a little bit of hope for what the future may hold, even if the future is unknown right now. And with that, Suna sits on the throne, and you can see the people, they begin to sing and chant. What seems to be, well, what Karasili you would know to be a traditional hymn from Atarashi, one honoring the spirits and one honoring the gods. As for a lot of the people in Atarashi, the gods and the Empress, they're synonymous to a degree. The Empress is meant to be a speaker of the gods. And you suppose now that when they sing of a speaker for the gods, it is almost a god themselves, since there is no divinity left in this world. But with that, as the song concludes, so does the ceremony. Suna is recognized as Empress Suna. Atarashi, the great unifier. And with that, much of Suna's life in the coming weeks, days, and months is swept up by politicking and communicating. She does make a little bit of time for all of you before you depart to whatever adventures await you in the Salamander Coast or wherever you plan to go next. But she imparts nothing but gratitude towards all of you in the brief moments you can spare. But not the last you'll be seeing of Suna. It is just the last you'll be seeing of her for now. All right.
Love our Empress.
All right. So, with that, the thing is, we begin downtime. So, let me close that. Now, there is a little bit of space between when all of you are in Akai to heading back to, or heading out to do whatever you're planning on doing. So just to make this easy, we'll say that since all of you are family, before all of you decide to go anywhere, the first thing you want to do is you want to go back to Maester, and you want to check on everybody that's there, especially considering some stuff went down there. So you take the time and you head back to Maester. Not before stopping at Alarix. He's doing great. Suni Jr. is also doing great.
Hell yeah.
But
a good kid.
We will come back to Suni Jr. In a bit, as he's not quite ready to leave Alarix yet. He's having a good time there. Junior.
Yep. Oh my god.
No, that would be Suni's name.
Junior's.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It can either go. We'll go either way.
Yeah, they're both.
Call them both Senior, and then we're even more confused.
Sorry, I'm just. Okay, so you all head back to Maester. Now, Maester is as bustling as a city. Well, I mean, honestly, even more than what it was when all of you left. It is a hot summer's day as you arrive back around the 20th of Sunspire, which is August. And you spend a little bit more time unwinding and relaxing and just reveling a little bit in being a hero. As sure, the people in Shiroi and you know, Ararashi were thankful that you were there to help. The people of Maester, they love you. They celebrate when you return. There are feasts throughout the day that are held in your honor. People constantly cheering your names or toasting you at the various taverns and inns throughout Maester. In fact, the entire half of the city that had been practically destroyed due to the snow collapsing those buildings has all been repaired. And now it's getting to the point where they have to build new houses or build larger multifamily complexes for the amount of people that are influxing and immigrating to Maester from various other parts of the Old Kingdom and from Bella Clara itself. Which, Bianca, that definitely takes up a fair bit of your time as we begin downtime. Before you can really do anything, you have about 2.5 months of politicking that you have to do between the Old Kingdom and Bella Clara and the investors and what's left, all of that. So, Bianca, like I said, your first 2.5 months is pretty much only that. But with the help of your companions, when they're able to spare time in between pursuing their own endeavors, it is something you're able to accomplish. It's just a lot of red tape. And it is a very big victory on that last day in what would be around mid to late October. So from August to October, all you're doing is politicking 24/7. And eventually, at the end, you do have some success. And we'll get to that moment in particular in a little bit. But that takes up a lot of Bianca's time in the beginning. And we have 2 other individuals that are starting a bit of a journey that takes up larger chunks of time. And we're going to go ahead and start with Caracilla. So, Caracilla, as you return back to Maester with your companions, you spend a fair bit of time, like I said, you know, enjoying the people and being a bard. But there are things you want to do. So you begin to pack your bags and ready for the supplies that you need to go back to, well, a rather large location that you and your companions went to that you really want to go back to. However, as you're packing your bags, when it comes to your journey to the Underdark, Caracilla, is this something you're being public and open about with your companions, or is this something that you're trying to maybe keep a little bit on the down low?
I think she would have mentioned it, but she's gonna like mention it in passing. Like she's never gonna be like, "Hey, y'all, I'm going to the Underdark. What up?" I think it's just gonna be she's gonna just like slide it in there, like when they're having dinner together and shit, you know. Make people aware, but not be like, you know, making a big thing of it.
Okay.
Bianca would raise her eyebrows. I'd just be like, huh? Porqué?
I mean, is she gonna ask directly? Because otherwise, Carousel will just like steamroll over that.
I mean, yeah, she would be like, yeah, she would ask. She'd be like, what you doing down there? More Kuatoa stuff?
More Kuatoa stuff. I mean, I figure it's worth trying to get more of them out. If not for their sake, for all of our sake. We have no gods anymore, and, well, I'm not sure how much it would compare, but gods and creation of them is something that Kuatoa can kind of manifest.
You're right. Well, that's at least a great starting place. Good luck with that. Hopefully it goes as well as the group you have now.
As well, hopefully.
Sorry, you can actually do your thing now.
As you do bring it up at dinner, after dinner concludes, and you continue to pack your bags, Carasilla, there is a Alton. He finds you and he says,
excuse me, Carasilla.
Yeah.
You're planning to go to the Underdark?
Yes.
Well, I hope you packed enough supplies for 2, because I'm not letting you go down there alone. And 3, really, because, well, if we're going to get around, we need to get around on my friend. So, I hope you have enough supplies for all of us.
Well, I suppose I can make do. I wasn't going to ask you to go back down, though.
you see he kind of like squints and sort of looks off to the side and then looks back to you and says,
The Underdark doesn't seem so scary if I go back with you. And it's treacherous. It's very hard to get around, and last thing I want you to do is get lost down there. Not that you would. I mean, gods, you're so powerful magically, I'm sure you could snap your fingers and return back up to the surface if you wanted to, but still. Makes me feel better knowing that I'll be down there with you.
Yeah, I should just give a smile at that. Makes me feel better to have you with me then. Should give him a little hug.
Yeah, all right. He'll help you pack. And he will also pack his supplies, and the two of you head out together. Now, the thing is, you know of a way into the Underdark from Maester, but there's something specific you wanted to do first. So instead of entering from there, you and Alton backtrack from Maester to Vesna to Periton, all the way up to Reachka. And in Reachka, you head to a very familiar pond, activating it just the way that you know. And you make your way to where the creator is. Now, let me go ahead and pull this up. Why is that not down there? There we go. All right. As you make your way deep within the chamber of the creator, there's no enemies that attack you. There's no hostility. But you make your way to where Suni had been dissected to a degree, where parts of his scales had been removed. And there you find him, the alien creature. He turns and sees you here. Doesn't seem surprised to know you're within his lab, but he says,
"So, you return not alone, but in fewer numbers to be sure. What is it exactly you are here for?"
Well, I mean, I hope you wouldn't mind if I ask you for some help. I do still want to count you among allies rather than, well, anything less.
Assist you with?
I'm planning on going back down to the Underdark. Or trying to get more of the Kuatoa to the surface. And from what I understand, you and your people, even if it was in a different reality, have probably, I'm sure, better knowledge of them than I. And so if there's anything you can do to assist, I'd be more than thankful.
As you question that, he sort of squints at you. You can see his eyelids, instead of blinking like horizontally, they blink vertically and they reopen. He says,
"Very well. I will help. Only because you have impressed me with your actions. Much of what you have accomplished I thought impossible by someone with compassion."
you can see he speaks it almost as if it's a dirty word.
Oh, maybe you just have to have a little bit more faith sometimes.
Very well. The Kuatoa, then, I assume you plan to try and harvest that power from them.
I mean, harvest is a choice word, but this is their reality too. I think the more people we can get to help fight for it is, well, a good thing. But yes, I do hope that their powers can be, well, useful.
Very well. Follow me. I will take you to where I know a large collective of them reside, and good luck. Hopefully you will be able to corral them, same as you have the rest of those creatures on the surface.
Okay. With that, Carasilla, you can see he turns away from the lab he was working on. Some creature, I mean, at this point, completely unidentifiable in terms of what it is, but he will lead you down below, incredibly deep. But eventually, as you mount what seems to be some type of like arcane elevator, you shoot down to the depths below until eventually you can hear the sound of running water. And you see a large lake and a small boat. Large enough for you, Alton, and one larger creature, so Alton's mount will fit on it, as well as the creator, which you can see he goes to step into the boat as you enter the Underdark. The journey. Ooh, wait a minute.
He lost all his goop.
The journey is a long one. Please, if you wouldn't mind the two of you paddling, it would be greatly appreciated.
Of course.
Alton does it as well. You can see Alton's lizard mount uses his tail, alternating each side, also helping paddle.
Like a little propeller, yeah.
Yeah. Carry the load. Carry the load. Okay.
Beautiful.
But Carasilla, from that point, it does take about 5 days worth of sailing and paddling on this boat in order to get to the destination that you seek. As you dismount from the boat, it takes about another 2 weeks of walking on foot, constantly going down. There are times where Alton and his mount, where the two of you are able to get on it and ride down almost near like vertical drops of 700, 800, 900 feet, heading deeper and deeper and deeper into the Underdark. You can hear the crashing of waves to a degree near you, echoing. Maybe they're close, maybe they're not. It's so incredibly disorienting. The deeper you go, the more narrow the caves get, and it seems like the further sound travels. Every once in a while, there is a group of creatures, horrors, or maybe other denizens of the Underdark, driders, the like, that attack you. But luckily, you, Alton, and the creator, you use the powers that you have to quickly dispatch them, no matter to you. But eventually, after about 3 weeks, almost a month of being in the Underdark, you finally arrive. I mean, it looks like you stand before an ocean. I mean, truthfully, you can see water stretching as far as the eye can see, waves lapping on the shore like a beach. And as you look down the beach to your right-hand side, you can see what looks to be a small city constructed of eroded stone and baked sand. You can see what look to be shells and exoskeletons of larger Underdark creatures used to create roofs and walls, buildings, a city. And you can hear the chanting. And there's maybe 1,000, 2,000 Kuatoa living in that place.
God damn, that's a lot of Kuatoa. Okay. So, game plan is, she wants to try and get close to the city, just so like anything on the outskirts of it will be noticed. She doesn't want to go into the center of it because that sounds like a bad idea. And what I want to do is she's gonna start casting Mirage Arcane, and it's a 10-minute cast, but it changes the terrain up to a mile, like a square mile. And so right outside of the city, she's basically, it's gonna be like the complete opposite of Underdark. It's gonna be like those, like, you know when like in like shows and shit where like characters die and it's like they go to heaven, like it's just this field of just light.
Okay.
Of just like almost ethereal light.
Okay.
And just then, like, into the sky, she will, once that spell has finished casting the Mirage Arcane, she's going to send basically like a flash with daylight using the gauntlet to kind of attract attention from the city if there was not attention already.
Yeah.
And with these things in place, she's going to kind of like tap in to the chanting that's happening there. And she is going to kind of like start playing along with it, with the Gertie, but then as hopefully attention is brought to her, start to like morph it into something of her own.
Okay.
But, yeah, she's just fishing for an audience. Haha, fish people.
All right. So, Carasilla, between the shifting of the mirage, where these creatures have a very limited range of view anyway, it's only like 120 feet from where they're standing. That's about as far as their vision goes. So yeah, miles and like a mile of ethereal heavenly plane. As you shine the daylight, the chanting stops. Like it's like a heart attack, where this, like, or heart palpitation, I should say, where it just skips a beat. And then it continues again, but it's quieter, it's shakier. And as you begin to chant from outside the city, you can see there are these Kuatoa that begin to poke their head over the walls. They're like beady, sickly yellow eyes staring down towards you. And you can see emerging from the gate this monstrous Kuatoa. Stands maybe 15 feet high, 15 feet wide. I mean, he slithers on the ground like a fat snake, as opposed to walking on two flipper-like feet. And he looks to you, and much to your surprise, he speaks in this grovelly, deep, common voice.
Who dare comes before the land of Snirada? You, usurper demigod. You have no sway of these people. They are my people.
Your response, Carousel?
But there's, I mean, with the other Kuatoa behind him,
yeah.
Can I get a kind of read on what the vibes of, like, the city themselves are?
Yeah, no insight check necessary. Most of the other Kuatoa are like, oh shit. I like that light, was really cool. Like, they're looking at you and they seem very intrigued by the product you're selling as a potential new god. Kuatoa are a little they're a little flippant when it comes to their the people who would be their deities.
Does it seem like they're being held back by this one person? Like, does it seem like they will follow this one person?
It seems like as of right now, they're following this one person, but I mean, you know, things could change.
Okay. Well, I mean, single targets are much easier than 1,000. And so all she's going to do then at that point is she will cast suggestion on the fucking Jabba the Hutt looking fucker.
Okay.
And well, I guess she'll lead into it first. And she'll say, "Well, I am here is to invite you and your people to a place that's a bit brighter than this. A place where you will not be so imprisoned. So, left in the dark, in very literal sense. A place where you can do better and be greater. A place where you can help, where your powers are needed." And this is where she will, like, start the suggestion.
Uh-huh.
"And I'm sure it is a place that you will gladly let me lead your people to."
Okay. What's your DC?
Fucking, I don't know, man. High. 20.
20. Okay. It's
I'll antibiotic, fuck it.
okay. Yeah. Sure. I mean, he's at the end of the day, his wisdom saving throw is the same as a normal Kuatoa, so it's just a D20. So he has to. I guess if you anti-bardic, he auto fails. So we'll just say you did.
He has to get. Anyway, I ain't fucking around. Give me.
Yeah, and just immediately, like a wet paper towel, he folds. I mean, he already has his skin is already that texture, so it's easy. As he immediately after this ready to fight for his life, immediately goes,
"We have a new god! Follow my children! I bow to a more powerful one."
He really just bows his head. He can't really bow anything else, but he just kind of bows his head. And you can see all the other Kuatoa, they begin to chant this echo throughout this oceanside Kuatoa city as they all go, "God of light, God of light, God of light, God of light." And they begin to march out of the city, Carousella.
Fucking Pied Piper that shit, you know, like.
All right. So, thing is, Carousella, as 1,000 Kuatoa start to believe in you, you feel this incredible surge of magical power within you, where you feel in this moment that if you tried, you could bring all of these Kuatoa somewhere in the material plane. They want to go to the surface because that's what you promised. And since they want to go to the surface, they believe you'll get them there. So that has invested you with the power to get them there.
I think you're feeling this. Just gonna quickly send a message to Bianca. Just a little sending.
Yeah.
You good if I bring a few friends up to the surface to Maester?
So Bianca,
you are selling what you are offering.
Before you can respond, Bianca, for a little bit of context to what you're doing right now, there are these 3 incredibly old investors that are currently discussing investments and the current markets of various products around the region and the tax rates that they want on those items in order to keep their businesses afloat, in turn to keep your economy afloat. And you've been having this conversation for 3 hours when Carasilla sends you that message.
And you just said a few friends to the surface. You did not give him...
Quite a few friends.
Bianca's gonna, like, as they're in the middle of talking numbers, she's just gonna, like, be like, oh, sorry, 1 second. And she's gonna, like, rub her temple. I mean, what do you mean by a few? I mean, if you got a place to put them, sure, you don't need to ask.
We'll send another message. 1,000?
Bianca was sipping something and chokes.
my queen, are you all right?
Yes, sorry.
If it is not of your taste, we can get you something else.
Oh,
Please,
no.
please get another tea for the queen.
Please, chill. Okay, no, it's fine.
I'll send you, I'll get back.
She will send back. Yes, but where are we putting them? Let me think. I think there's some empty, unused farmland. Let's go with that. It's out west. The farmland out west. Could you go there? Sorry, I have no idea about numbers. Fuck the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, is it I guess it'd be kind of a specific. I mean, we've been around for, like, some of the reconstruction, so I imagine, like...
Yeah, she'll say the southwest district of the farm fields in blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. One of the places that was destroyed due to the winter, you know. Nobody's gone
it's
back.
It's unused. It needs to be rebuilt still. No one's gotten to it yet.
Well, here you go. 1,000 hands. Done.
Perfect. They'll just believe it into existence. So it's so funny. Pop off, God. I was just saying in the chat, I'm like, guys, we need to catch up. She's a god. What are we? We're all scrubs right now.
Well.
Okay.
I mean, Cecily's halfway there.
That's true.
All right, so that's where you're going, Carasilla?
Yeah, fuck it.
All right.
Ominous music for this beautiful road they're on.
We cut back. I didn't have a chance to change it yet, John. I wish I could do everything that fast, but I can't. So, you and 1,000 Kuatoa. 999 Kuatoa and 1 Jabba the Hutt.
Wait, hold on. That one came too?
Yeah, fuck it, man. Why not? I like him. I thought it was Jib.
You're just on the main road with this fucking caravan of fish.
Wonder what that smells like.
They smell
fish market.
Very bad. I mean, they've been at one of the deepest, darkest recesses of the Underdark, just being fish people.
Imagine how much dirt is on Jabba the Hutt right now. He's a fish who's slimy. He's sliding across the ground.
Carasella's job to clean him.
I just go around, prestidigitation, prestidigitation, prestidigitation.
There's not enough in the world that would clean that.
So, Carasilla, the Kuatoa are in the Old Kingdom. Your Underdark romp comes to a conclusion rather successfully. The full scope of what these Kuatoa are going to do and what they're going to accomplish and what sway they're going to have, well, that's to be determined. My question to you is, in these farmlands, mostly abandoned aside from a few animals that have still remained and are now free grazing, what do you tell the Kuatoa to do?
I mean, they can set their shit up, you know? Like, they've obviously built a city before, and knowing this area needs reconstruction, whether or not they're going to permanently stay here, I feel like it's a discussion probably should have formally with Bianca. But for now, I think, yeah, she'll basically just kind of tell them to make themselves at home, you know, like let this be a place for them. Yeah, enjoy the light, have fun, have a little pool.
Okay. All right. So they begin their construction, they begin their prayer. Most importantly, they begin to build a shrine. But
my
not in the orders.
God.
What
I love that though.
Whatever that manifests into, we'll have to see in a year's time. When we come back. When we finally go.
Legs.
Hate that. All right, that's awesome. So, a month passes. Carousel, you finally return. And from there, we're going to go ahead and jump to Cecily. That was Carousel. You continue to help manage your Kuatoa. You do know, Carousel, that in a few days, maybe a week, you are going to need to go to Bromscroft for the meeting with the Hidden Flame, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Cecily, though, as you arrived in Maester, had dinner, Carousel brought up that she would be leaving for the Underdark. You have had plans to return to Jormungandry, or at least to participate in that culture, to grow to understand it more, and to actually become a participant in it. That evening after dinner, Tyr does come to you. And he knocks on your door while you're getting ready for bed and says,
Cecily, it is Tyr.
Tackle hug. Immediately, door
Yeah.
flies open.
Oh!
She's gonna, like, jump high enough and, like, air jet so
Yeah.
she flies a bit.
Okay.
Get up to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he'll immediately squeeze and hug tightly back. And say, oh, well, I'm very happy to see you too.
Yeah, and she'll, as she comes down, she's gonna be fanning herself like this in the heat, but her hands are like air jets. So she basically has one of those little fans people bring to like baseball games.
Oh, yeah.
She's just got that going on naturally.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, as you're sort of waving and creating the gusts of air around you, you can see Tyr's obviously very happy to see that you're safe and that you're here. But he says,
Daughter, I have good news and I have... And I'm going to give the bad news to you first.
Good. I was gonna ask that.
I have been in contact with Thor and with Thrud. It seems as though a meeting with Odin is going to happen, but it's going to take time. His mental state has grown frail lately. They are afraid if I were to come to him so soon, so immediately, without any type of precursor, it could cause an outbreak or some type of poor reaction from him. That's the last thing I want to do, to put you or me in harm's way. I believe Odin is an incredibly strong ally, if we can get him to see reason. They've assured me they will do everything they can over the course of the next year to calm his mind. Thrud especially has a very special way with him. I think that will help. That being said, there is no reason why you can't grow to learn more. Jormungandry, its people, its cultures.
The Council of Yggdrasil would gladly welcome you and me within their borders. If you'd be willing to leave your friends for a small time to learn more about our culture.
Oh. Well, yeah. That sounds great. I get the sense we're kind of doing a splitting off thing right now anyway. Carasilla's talking about going back underground. Well, I can't promise I'm like the best politician, but I guess I've had a little bit of practice.
When we go, do not worry about making allies or alliances or forging bonds. I want you to worry about knowing people, seeing what they do, seeing how they act, the rituals they do at night, the way they honor me or Odin or Thor. They care greatly. They care deeply. Jormungandr never was supposed to be a political place. It was meant to be one of simplicity. And I think when we go, you will see that.
I guess Odin has lost a lot of family this year. It makes sense to give him some time, I guess. I don't know what I would say to him right now anyway, so maybe this gives me some time to think about it.
I agree. And, well, it gives you something very important to think about.
What is that?
Well, you are the daughter of Tyr, are you not? One day the people of Jormungandr will worship you. What will they worship you for? It's a question only you can find the answer to.
Well, I just got one question right now. Last time I was in Jormungandr, it was very, very cold. How cold is it right now?
Oh.
Because I'm like really happy we ended the eternal winter here and everything, but fuck, it is hot.
Well, you are in quite luck. Most of the places I have in mind is in the dead of summer right now. It is alive, burning hot. You only need a light sweater. You don't need a heavy coat.
I can get used to that.
Most of the places. Some of them you will still need a heavy coat, I should warn you. Higher elevation. We should go see the Goliaths, actually, too, in the Hearthstone.
Oh, yo!
Never been.
Shit, I know. I know. I've known one of them a long time.
Well, maybe we could get Keothi to give us a warm welcome for her and her people.
It's weird being a giant.
Yes, and who knows? Maybe when we're there, we can see if there's some way to awaken that giant blood in you.
You think I have another inch or two to grow?
If we're being generous, yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, spend some more time with your companions. And pack your bags, and whenever you are ready, we will head to Jormungandr.
And she'll happily end that conversation, and like as soon as he's out of the room, she's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, pack my bags. What do I own? Hold on." She's gonna have to sort that out. But yeah, she'll tell everybody over dinner at some point. before all the journeys begin. She's very excited about it. She's gonna, in her head, she's gonna like be on a mountain, talk to some Goliaths, maybe look at the sky and eat some food, and then like maybe do a thing with war paint. That's her only understanding of what's going on right now. She's hyped.
Yeah.
It's like vacation.
So, with that, you pack what little you do have, and you and Tyr do make a couple of stops beforehand. As easy as it could be for him to get someone, or for even for he himself to maybe teleport you guys there, he wants it to be a little bit of a journey. So from Maester, you'll actually be leaving to travel to Fort Ivar, then to Mars Keep, and then you'll be traversing across the mountains, crossing the border there, to travel into Jormungandr by foot.
Hell yeah. Father-daughter time.
Luckily, your journey is not without peril, as you two are stopped by bandits on the road, as this is still rather new. It's rather lawless in these parts of the country, or even crossing the mountain. There are some creatures there that do attack you. Those that are just beasts, bears and larger birds and the like. You're able to get them to go away. You don't need to slaughter them, but some of the monstrosities you do. You're level 15. Tyr is whatever he is. You guys can handle it.
26, maybe.
Yeah. And you're able to safely traverse from...
Can we just, tell the bandits to go away?
Yeah, I think that...
I feel like...
They, sneak up. And as soon as they see, the first bit of magic charge from you and, Tyr, ready the shield and spear, they're like, never mind. Here's our gold. You guys have it.
We just say to it at one point, Cecily just asks one of the bandits what they want and just gives them the money for it. Just go home.
Just please.
It's dangerous out here.
All right. But eventually, you are able to see, as you begin to crest the top of the mountain and you begin to descend down, no more do you hear the sound of just wind within the mountains, the crunching of snow, but instead you see a small but bustling town built on the edge of a river. As you begin to step foot into Jormungandr. Now, Cecily, we're not going to go through each individual event that you experience and have you roleplay all of them, because over the course of about, let me check my calendar here. Over the course of about 5 months, you spend a lot of time in Jormungandr. You leave Jormungandr for one occasion, which we'll get to in September, or Leaffall, but we'll get to there. But you spend a lot of time here. And you participate in, either participate in or you watch from a distance various sacrificial rituals. So individuals sacrificing, animals to various gods. Warriors that are going to go out into the forest to try and defeat trolls or things that have been attacking their farmers or taking their sheep, blessed by, strength and thunder to be able to slaughter and slay those enemies. Ritual feasting. After those warriors return, they have a great feast to celebrate the victory and the safety of the people. However, there is one that Tyr does insist that you participate in. There was a group of about 15 warriors that went to go fight those trolls. Only 10 came back. 5 perished in the fighting honorably. They gave it their all, and it was due to their sacrifice that the people of this town were safe. Tyr notably was against the two of you going with those warriors, because something they care about so deeply is being able to make that sacrifice. They want to fight to live, because to them it's what makes life worth living. To just have everything handed to them, it takes a lot of the sweetness out of life. So what Tyr wants you to do is, while the two of you have been within the city, the people know of you, generally. I mean, rumor has spread of what you've done in Maester and your connection to this land. They know you're very powerful. But no one truthfully knows your real connection. There were whispers about you being Odin's daughter, but Odin's children haven't been seen in these parts in a very, very, very long time. So Tyr wants you to participate in one of the burial rituals. He wants you to offer some type of symbol or some type of word to the burial of these warriors. Now, these individuals, these warriors are not burned at a pyre. In this particular town, they are buried within small, shallow graves, but then dirt is sort of piled over them to create a small tomb, almost, for 2 or 3 soldiers. They're buried with their weapons, with any of their sacred items, and then there are seeds that are spread around it to denote a grave. And you can see the entire countryside surrounding this town. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of those hills. So my question to you is, in this particular instance, what does Cecily, what might she say or what might she do to honor this land and to honor these soldiers?
What has the weather been like in the couple of weeks prior to this moment happening, would you say?
I would say it's peaking. It's a lot of peaks and valleys, where there'll be 2 or 3 days of really clear, really nice weather, and then 2 or 3 days of like torrential storms and like drastic drops in temperature. So there's a lot of like going back and forth between really nice and really kind of bad weather.
Okay. For that reason, then, she isn't going to say, she's just gonna do. She is going to channel a gentle rain. She'll stand near the graves and wait until the seeds are spread. And she is going to, with her knowledge of gardening and knowing what these plants are and the kind of treatment they like, she is going to give them just like the perfect first start at their life, calling forth a gentle rain. And it'll just be like a stormless, thunderless, just column. And she'll stand right in the center of it and remain completely dry as it's coming down, and just let all of this ground sort of be blessed with a chance at new life before any harsh weather comes in to maybe set it astray.
Okay. You can see that as the storm clouds, or the gray clouds, begin to form above, many of the people, they sort of look up, and to a degree they sort of clench, they sigh, they get scared, as they're afraid they're gonna have to go run into their houses or corral in their herd animals so they don't get swept away down the river or drown. But as that light drizzle starts and continues, doesn't stop, doesn't get any worse, you can see there is this visible relief in the audience of tension. as they're allowed to grieve, they are allowed to celebrate, and they are allowed to cherish this moment without it being sullied by offensive weather. You can see they seem tranquil. They seem at peace. And they look to you and they know that you helped them feel that way. So you and Tyr, the people thank you for coming. So incredibly thankful that you would be here. But your next stop is the mountains. As from where you are, the next place to go would be to Hearthstone. So you make the next journey. Another 2 weeks of walking until eventually you meet Keothi, as she had been staying in the Hearthstone communing with some of the Goliaths, and she looks to you as you finally make your way up these like 12,000 steps up the side of the mountain to get to the Hearthstone, as she says,
"Well, hello, Cecily. It's very good to see you. Honestly, I'm very proud to know that you both walked up this way. People haven't walked up those steps in, well, several hundred years."
I can see why.
Yes, well, let's get you inside something to drink and something a little more peaceful than walking upstairs, shall we?
Yeah. She's, I don't care how if he's tired too, she's gonna piggyback ride Tyr.
Oh yeah, he is. You know, no amount of godly stamina can just.
Okay, you wanted to. Okay.
But he'll do it.
Yeah, it's only an extra 100 pounds, you know. Just
yeah,
he's fine.
He's just so glad it didn't rain. But yeah, so the two of you make your way up the rest of the steps, and you enter into the Hearthstone. Now, the stone within these halls is alive. And I don't mean that as some type of like metaphor. I mean, it just is. Like, there are veins of life within the stone. The mountain itself, as you walk through its halls, it breathes. It contracts and releases. This is a living place. These are the halls from which Keothi and her ancestors, her siblings, her family were carved from. And you can see that as you walk past certain places. There are what look to be almost like inverse tombs, people carved out of the stone, not placed into it. And you can see as you walk through some of these halls, there are Goliaths that sit on their knees. They bang on drums. They play these very simple, like 2 or 3 stringed instruments with bows. And they let out a chorus of deep, deep, deep tones. And the instruments, the stringed ones especially, let off these high pitches, this like harmony that has this dissonance to it, where it is the bottom and top of the musical scale, but they meld together. And the song becomes real, going into the stone as it begins to shift and morph, as you witness a Goliath being created. You and Keothi and Tyr continue through the halls. And over the next week or so, you have many conversations with many different Goliaths on ideas and concepts of philosophy. And Cecily has grown a lot, but by the 5th or 6th day, you're like, okay, this is a lot. And Keothi recognizes that, and Tyr enjoys this type of stuff, but Keothi, she knows you really well from your adventures and says,
Cecily, before we head in there again for today, would you mind having a private conference with me today? I think it might suit both our interests better to have a bit of one-on-one time as opposed to the group conversation.
Yeah, sure. That's good. I'll be right back. She'll nod to Tyr and head off.
And And with that, as eventually you get out of earshot of the room, she says, "Oh my goodness, I could not have another conversation all day long about the meaning of stone and spirit. Don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for it. But also, I've spent a lot of my life, not a lot of my life, I've spent a lot of my very recent life adventuring, and it's just a little too slow for me."
I really am so glad you said something. I didn't want to offend anyone. But wow, I don't think I have a long enough lifespan to talk that long. I got shit to do. Oh, man.
Well, I think what would do us a lot of good is just sitting in peace and quiet, looking at a pretty view. What do you think?
You got a pretty sweet view.
Mm-hmm. Well,
kind of looks like we're seeing the whole world.
You haven't even seen the best part yet.
Oh?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to climb more?
No.
Okay.
And she leads you throughout the halls a bit more, until eventually you get to this platform. Carved from, not even carved, just the stone sung in a way, moved in a way, where there is this railing with these elevated platforms near the railing that look down in this valley at the center of the Hearthstone. Hundreds of waterfalls pour out of different areas to this like crater in the center of the mountain. And at the bottom of that crater, you see this tree, this marvelous tree. And you can see its roots meld with the stone. You see the heart of the Hearthstone. What gives the stone life, this tree. A gift from some ancient god or some extraterrestrial being, no idea. But it gives life to the Goliaths, to the giants, gives life to this land. And you feel this deep resonance with it. As Keothi, you can see she sort of sits down on one of those raised platforms near the railing and sort of pats the seat next to her for you to join her.
I shall.
And Cecily, you sit and you begin to meditate. Now, my question to you is, I know that Cecily's had a variety of, meditation activities, and in this moment, what is she doing? What's the thing she's going with?
She, water and wind is definitely the primordial things that call to her, and I feel like there's a lot of that going on in this chasm that they're in. So she's just going to try to align her breath with the rhythm of the air that's in here, and see if she can feel sort of that storm-like hum that comes off of powerful water.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of constant thrum of a waterfall. She's going to try to tune into it, and breathe some of it into her own power.
Okay. So, Cecily, as you begin to do that, this cycle, breathing in and out, focusing on those elements, you begin to feel that bond strengthened. But it goes deeper than that. You peer deeper and deeper into that connection, into that tree, into the water, into the wind, into life. And you see those threads of magic within your mind's eye. The ones you know very well, wind and water, and you can see around the edges they're frail. They seem frayed, the beginning of breaking. And you can see maybe a way to fix them, to mend them. You can see it, and you're not exactly sure what to do now, but Cecily, you know deep down there is a way to fix those threads that are frayed. The ones that are broken, you're not sure, but the ones that are frayed, you know you can heal. And Cecily, you spend quite a bit more time in Jormungandr meditating on that idea and that concept, and you can feel the various magic within you and the breastplate begin to strengthen. As you're fairly confident that by the time your adventure in Jormungandr is done here, the Aesir Bane breastplate will definitely grow stronger by the end of the downtime. So, with that, Cecily, we're going to go ahead and jump from you to a small thing about Sunni here as you continue your journey throughout Jormungandr. Sunni, you specifically, on the 2nd of Leafall, so on the 2nd of September, you do begin tinkering the mechanical arm and the blunderbuss together. You begin that process. And then on the 20th of September, you finish integrating the blunderbuss into the mechanical arm. So now you don't need a free hand in order to shoot the blunderbuss, which you can add a blunderbuss to your inventory and you can count yourself as proficient with it. So
that's fucking sick.
Sunni can just peel back his hand.
We're out here doing all this spiritual shit, and he's like, wrist gun. Yeah.
Well, that's thing number one for Sunni.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh yeah. But Sunni, right after you finish that, you took a little bit of time to mend that and spend a little bit of time, relaxing yourself. As we'll go ahead and go back to Maester here. But there is something on your mind specifically. And this is something that you will need to get from Carasilla before she leaves, because there is something that you've been meaning to do. And one of those things involves the Vault of Souls in Akai, and one of the others involves looking inward towards Sunni the Forsaken. So my question to you is, both of these can be done, concurrently, one after the other, but my question is, which one would Sunni be doing first?
Okay, so real talk, I just popped back on. I had to take a quick breather for a second, and I just popped back on to hear you say help with Carasilla getting the vault. So I understand what you're getting at, but I don't know what you are asking specifically about which of the two things to do first.
That is exactly what I was asking. Which of the two things are you doing first? So there is the thing at the Vault of Souls, and then Forsaken Sunni talking to him.
Okay. Probably the first thing first, to knock the other two things out kind of congruently, I guess.
Okay. Alrighty. So that will involve you going back to Akai City, which of course Sunni would be more than happy to have you there, and Alric and the dwarves can help you get there rather quickly. But before traveling there is something you need from Carasilla first.
Yeah. So is this pre-Carasilla leaving on her mini quest?
Yeah,
Okay.
you would have to ask her for this before she leaves.
Yeah. So he would just at some point pull Carasilla aside, specifically just to her, and would not like whispering secretively necessarily, but just kind of wanting it to be right here, would say, "Hey, do you have a second?
I do.
I know you're like preparing to leave really soon, and I have a couple of things that I need to take care of while you're gone. Do you think? I know this is a really big ask, but do you think that you might be able to help me get my hands on the remains of the Platinum Dragon?"
She's given you a look.
I know.
Especially considering last time there was like a whole thing about having to get them off you. But she'll wait for you to continue.
I understand that it might be a sore subject, and I really hope you have seen the fact that I am not who I was in the days that we first met. And I really do regret my actions towards you and your sister.
I would say that's the least of my concerns right now.
Right.
What exactly do you plan to do?
Well, I need to talk to the first Sunni, and I can't do that without the remains of a god.
I mean, I'm willing to help. If you have a plan, I'm guessing?
I'm not really the plan ahead sort of kind of person. I'm more of the like, run face first into danger and kind of let it happen as it happens person, which is why I'm here. I don't think they would let me near it without someone of your standing to help me out. Do you have any people you could contact maybe to let this happen?
Wait, this is me though, but those remains only exist in the future, right? Or...
No, we gave them to Emerald and they were locked in the college, correct?
No, he locked them away with the Hidden Flame specifically. So Carasilla, you would have access to that.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking you, yeah.
I understand. I mean, fuck, I can ask, but...
That's all I can ask of you.
You're gonna have to be the one that explains it all. It's your connection.
I think that's fair. That's fair, but again, I don't think they would let me anywhere close to it without you.
Right.
Or at least without your blessing.
Well, you suddenly have that. How far it will get you, I'm not too sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And I promise that I will not misuse this trust you're putting in me. This is important. And I wouldn't ask for it if it wasn't.
No, I understand that. And I think it's good that you're trying to reach out in the first to whatever past it is for you. I mean, I know Carasel's planning on heading to Bromsgrove, but that's not for a while. I don't know how soon he actually wants to do this, though.
I mean, do I need Carasilla to be there for this to happen, or is there somebody who she can contact who can...
Yeah, can I, like...
Yeah, no, we can just say that for the purposes of this, Carasilla, you can contact somebody, have Sunni explain the situation, and given your current sway and position in the world as a powerful person, those remains will be delivered to your sanctum, which then you can give to Sunni before you leave.
Oh, sick. Okay, that makes things easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that then.
Okay. So Sunni, back in your possession.
before Carousel hands him over to Suni, as they're like in the process, she's gonna like keep her hand on it for a very long time, and with her other hand, just like a little like, you know, two eyes, like her two fingers like pointing at her eyes, and then to like Suni's like, you know, I'm watching you. But give him a little wink after it. She doesn't really mean it, but you know.
Suni is gonna take them and then attack Morwen.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
I'd rather be in the Underdark right now.
Oh, holy shit. R.I.P. Morwen. So, she's not dead. She's fine. So, Suni, after attacking Morwen, you take the remains off of her corpse, and you travel Atarashi, specifically to Akai City. Now, you travel deep under the city back to where you had been before, where to the area where Sultana had been interned. And well, you know, actually, before going, Sultana would have said she's gonna come with you to do this. And she'll be there with you in case anything happens near the Vault of Souls.
Cool. So. I got my dragon girlfriend. I got my dragon dust. I got my dragon self. Let's do this.
All right. So, you arrive at the Vault of Souls, underneath Akai City. As you begin to approach this ethereal border between the world of the living and the world of the spirits, I mean, you can feel this, like, power within you, within the remains, and coming from beyond that doorway. So as you approach, Suni, what do you want to do?
Before I say what I'm going to do, I just have a question, just for clarification.
Yeah.
Earlier, had you said that every reincarnation of Sultana keeps the memories of the previous one compared to Suni, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay. Then when they're like at the door, he would reach out and grab Sultana's hand and like look at her and just say, "What was he like?"
Which one?
The first one.
He reminds me a lot of who you are now. The most complete version of you I've ever known. Someone who knows himself. Someone brave and strong. And unafraid of what the world may have in store for us.
I'm a little scared, but I think I'm ready.
You can do it. I'm here.
Thank you.
She'll not. And as you kind of let go of each other's hands, you take another step forward. And what are you doing, Suni?
I guess he would pull out the remains of the No, I'm not gonna say that. The Platinum Dragon, I was. Never mind.
I know.
I'm
I
just
know what you're gonna say.
move-
I know you're
moving-
gonna.
okay. What sort of like what is it in? Is
So
it the same thing that it wasn't last time?
Yeah, the same vial that you had scraped it into at the end of the world.
So kind of I pull it out and kind of flick it around and look at it and just be like, man, that's crazy. That was so long ago. And also so far ahead. What? Time. And have I been given specific instructions about like how I'm supposed to go about doing this?
No, you were just told to bring the remains to the vault beneath Akai City.
Okay, well he's gonna pop the cork of the vial, and he's gonna start to pour it out in front of him, but using his telekinesis, and all of the particles of the dust are just gonna kind of float into a cloud in the air, like a very small, like 1 foot square cloud of the remains, and he's gonna concentrate it and push them onto the door.
Okay. Suni, as you do that, you can feel this pressure push back against you. As they get so close to the door, that ethereal energy pushes into you. And you can feel it begin to burn away those shavings, those remains. And you can feel those remains. You can see them weave into these tendrils of spirit as those tendrils reach out to you. And you can see one tendril in particular taps at your heart and the other at your head. And what Sultana sees is your entire body turns two-dimensional almost. Just this flat, brilliant white outline of Suni. As Suni, you feel yourself in this ethereal realm, wispy gray clouds of silver and bronze surround you, until you see this serpentine dragon creature begin to emerge from those clouds of smoke and silver.
So, it is strange. I never thought to see myself in this way. But here you are. So soon. Yeah, still fierce. Still powerful. It is strange to me. I am. So, you come to me in this moment. That must mean the gods have died.
Yes. And I had felt it coming for a while. At first I wasn't sure if it was just the Mother of Mountains or what, but it seems like one by one they've all faded out.
So then, why do you come to me if the gods are dead?
You and I suppose, were the first connection to the Mother of Mountains, as far as I know. Your soul mine maybe, I don't know how that works, is older than Elowin's was. You've seen this happen before. And we find a new mother.
Can't we find the new? I think the question you must ask yourself instead, Sir, why did she choose me? And why did she continue to bring us back? Long have I had time to think on this question, and I believe I know the answer. The mother of the mountains that chose me was the great-grandmother of the one that chose you. They were different. My mother of mountains was cruel. Earth and stone were meant to shatter and break those who were weak. She chose me because I could enforce her desires. I could fight for her to help ensure life thrive. I felt this element who took Mother Mountain's place. She was very different from the one that chose me. So Sydney, you must ask yourself, why would she have chosen you to come to do her duty? What did she want, and why did she believe you could do it?
I would like for Suni to close his eyes and deeply reach introspectively and metacognitively into himself and see if he can feel like any sort of ounce of the spirit of the Mother of the Mountains in the same way that he would feel it in the presence of Elowin or in communication with her, if there's any like intrinsic amount of that inside of him.
Okay. You can feel some of it. There is something within you that is still connected to Elowin. Some small part in the pit of your stomach, like a seed that was planted. But you can still feel that connection there.
I suppose that she knew that her time was coming, likely long before any of us could have seen it. Am I meant to find this next mother? Is there supposed to be one?
Stay unchecked, unfettered by the intervention of humanoids. It will grow. It will thrive. It will consume whatever it moves through. Earth and stone has the power to harden light. Do you believe the world needs another mother of mountains? Or perhaps, do they need a new champion to help guide them? To help guide nature? And advocate for it? What do you think, Sunny? You yourself have already proved your connection to that source. The Goliath. You yourself even bear the name Kalukatha.
Suni thinks back to his conversation with the trees about whether or not trees feel bored, and he thinks about the answer that the tree gave him and this idea of nature growing uncontested without human interference. And I guess you'll get to saying that if nature remains ever changing and growing without the Mother of Mountains, is it safe to let it go on that way? If I am the last of this line of champions, and Elwyn was the last of the line of mothers, nature will go on. It doesn't need us.
As much
Maybe
as
someone
I
will
wish I had the power of foresight, Sunny, that is a question you must answer. It is your choice.
I long to feel the breeze and the moving oceans and rivers and the soil under my feet and the warmth in the sky. And it's been so long that I've been able to do that in the way that it should be, the way that nature is intended to be. And I will fight to keep the rot away from the roots of whatever is still here. And if I die and we die for good, I want to make sure that I've done my part to till the soil and plant the seeds.
Very well.
So, you choose then to name no other of mountains. To have yourself for as long as you can. Keep that corruption away. And allow nature to grow unfettered, unobstructed.
Do you think me foolish for believing that to be the best solution?
You see his head kind of cocks a bit.
No. I do not think you're foolish at all. He who has the wisdom to look to the past is not foolish.
I think since learning of who I am and my devotion to Elowen, it's hard to imagine that she was not the living, breathing life of nature. But obviously, like you said, nature goes on. And it has a way of pruning itself when it goes bad. And I think as long as there are those who till the land and protect what's sacred, and there always will be those who feel that way about the earth and sky, I think nature needs none of us.
And there's a part of me that is inclined to agree. So that is done. It is said. It may as well be written in the patterns. This is the path of descent. Your ancestors and the ancestors of all of those who live in this world today, you choose for them. You make them proud.
I do have a question though. I don't know if I had realized that Elowen was literally the child of the last Mother of Mountains, who is literally the child of the next. Is there such a child now?
I believe there was at one point in time. Very recently. I could feel that life bloom within the Feywild. But sadly, I believe that life was consumed when the great light struck the Fey. There could be a chance the child still has life. But an infinitely small one at that.
I stand by what I said about it not needing any of us, but if there is a chance that this child is alive, I think I owe it to our mother to either put her to rest or help her to her feet. You say she was in the Feywild. Is that where she would stay? If she... I don't know. I don't know how any of this works, to be honest.
If you were to find her anywhere, I would think you could find her within the great city of Lysa.
Great city of what?
Lysa North, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Sooni's just going around adopting kids at this point. We got Sunior, and then we're gonna have Mother the Fourth.
Suni will add to that.
As I understand it, sometime in the near future, I can feel it beginning to bloom and bud. Within the land of Talamir and Iveria on the rift to the Feywild opens. The leader of those lands, one by the name of Twig Forrester, intends to rescue stragglers. If she has lived, she may be in my side, or there.
Thank you for your insight. Like I said, I think I owe it to Elwyn and those before her and you and the rest of us lot of Sunnis to try at some point.
You can see he nods and will say,
regardless of how different we may be, Sunny, there are some things that stay the same. Our love and passion for others, and desire to keep those we love safe. I will bestow upon you a gift. A gift you can only call upon once, and a great sacrifice to yourself, but one that could help turn the tide in your hour of need. Is there anything else you wish to ask me before I bestow this gift? Or it will sever our connection in this realm of stone?
What's it like to fly?
Truly.
That. Is there any other wisdom that you could bestow upon me? There's a lot of shit happening out there right now, and I could use every piece of advice I can get.
I do not know if there is any truth to it, or if it will help. But know this. The first two creatures that were made were dragons and giants. Dragon breath. The one I have, and even the one you have, holds great power in shaping the world. And shaping the wheel. I do not know if it will have any impact on your journey, but know that breath within you, that dragon's breath within you is powerful. It can change the very foundation of life, should you want it. That is all the wisdom I have to offer.
Thank you. And Sunny will bow. He'll say one last thing before letting the connection go, and he'll say, I know this goes without saying, but Sultana still loves you. And every version of you.
And Suni, as you say that, you can see ever faintly as you look up a swirling serpentine dragon of deep red and burgundy hues flying above. As the dragon looks up and looks back down to you.
I know. And I burn.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Is that Suni? He raises his claws up, and one on your head and one on your heart. There is this discharge of electrical energy as the large, ancient brass dragon channels a great deal of his magic into you. Sultana sees you. For her, this happens in an instant. I mean, it is the blink of an eye where you are a flat two-dimensional shape of white light and then back to being a fully three-dimensional being that falls to the ground, feeling as though nothing happened. And Suni, you don't feel any different. Your scales haven't changed at all. Your breath weapon still feels the same. Everything about you still feels the same, but that seed within you, that piece of Elowen within you, that magic has awoken. And Suni, Cameron, one time, only once, you can turn into an ancient brass dragon.
What?
Here's the thing.
That's fucking cool.
If you activate this ability, as soon as you either reach 0 HP or 100 years have passed, one of those two, you will return to your humanoid shape and you will roll a D100. As that seed within you that Elowen had planted, that part of her, has kept your spirit alive for so long, it's used up in that moment. You roll a D100, and there is a 75% chance that Suni dies and is unable to be brought back. So that means on a roll of 1 through 75, Suni's dead. But on a 76 or higher, Suni lives. Can't ever use that ability again.
Suni would like to turn into a dragon right now.
Nobody's gonna kill a dragon right now over the next 2 years. Might as well. All right.
And he'll, when he gets back up, he'll, I mean, obviously talk to Sultana about everything, and we'll just, like, the first thing we'll embrace him and hug her with lifetimes of Suni.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So with that, Suni, a connection formed and sadly broken, but not without leaving you with something to hopefully make sure that your final adventure is successful. So you and Sultana leave the vault. You know that your moment with the Forsaken Suni can be wherever, as his connection still lies within you.
Were you planning on me having me do that right now?
No, I think just because that did go a little longer, which is totally okay. I think I'll probably just have it take place a little bit later.
Because I do need a second to go check on Willow real quick. So I'm sorry, but I'll be back when I'm back. So I'm sorry.
You are good. Not a big deal. Okay, cool. So, real quick, after that moment, we're going to do a couple of narrated things here. Cecily, shortly after your little bits and pieces of adventure within Jormungandr, Poe does show up. And Poe, having a little bit of time off with Alec, from Alec, he wants to take the two of you out. Specifically,
Pray do tell.
where is it at here? Here we go. Specifically to the Gemstone Archipelago.
Oh shit, we're going on vacay.
Yeah. So for about a week, the two of you. Oh wait a minute. Here we go. That's the right music. Oh wow, that's right. I forgot. So yeah, the two of you go on this like fast and loose vacation throughout the Gemstone Archipelago, where you spend probably, a week and a half, 2 weeks just bopping around to different islands, eating at different places, and just enjoying each other's company. And it's nice where the two of you can feel, granted, not like a normal couple, because you definitely feel like, the type of couple that can just max out your parents' credit cards to go wherever you want to. But you know what? God damn it, it's your money. So you can spend it how you want. But the two of you have a fantastic time just going around the world, or going around the gemstone, and just enjoying the wind, the water, and all the elements that are around you.
Hell yeah. Can we fight in a dojo?
Yeah.
Cool.
Of course you do.
Sure that happened. What a crazy first date. Hey, Dad. We're gonna be across the world.
Yep. No big deal. He's like,
no.
He's like, you know what? There's
made
nothing
it this far without me.
Yeah, there's nothing that can happen. What are some pirates gonna attack them? Sorry for those pirates. Alrighty.
God, I'm now imagining the two of them just taking over a pirate ship on accident. Just happening to it.
Alright.
It's a fun day.
So from Cecily and Poe, we then are going to transition to. Sorry, I've been drinking too much water. Not too much, but just I've been drinking a lot of water quickly. Give me some issue.
Drinking a wada.
Wada. All right.
Till the very next day.
So now we're going to cut to Bianca. And Bianca, your time within the Old Kingdom has been quite busy. But over the course of about 5 or 6 months, there has been a boom in construction and rebuilding of Damaris City and Damaris Keep. Now, the interesting thing about this is most of the city, after the snow melted, flooded. In fact, so much so, most of the buildings were unsalvageable, where they were just swept away by water. But it led to a very nice surprise. No one was living in those houses, and it cleared away a lot of the rubble. People were able to fish it out, were able to help build new structures, and the new Damaris City and Damaris Keep is now a beautiful vista. As we'll go ahead and transition there.
Oh, it sure is. That is gorgeous.
But over the course of the past, 5-6 months, going back and forth with various investors and individuals and mayors, trying your best to appoint effective governors, break up these states into, appropriate groupings. Eventually, you arrive on a deal. The investors make a peaceful, willing transfer of power to you after 1,000 deals and 1,000 treaties are signed to ensure that they still have something to gain, but also they have a reason to do good and to help people on top of benefiting themselves the best you could get, while not completely destroying the nation.
Destroy that nation. Yep. Yes. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at the end, so this would be in October, around the 7th of October, Shade Sun. You finally sign the papers, sending them off to the various rulers of the world, declaring the Old Kingdom and Bella Clara now one. No longer two separate entities, one excommunicated by the other, but you instead name it Lislea, right?
Lislea, yeah.
Lislea. You rename the Old Kingdom in Bella Clara, unifying it as, at least as of right now, the Kingdom of Lislea. Who knows how that will transition in the next 50, 60 years, but we'll get there when we get there. Now's not the time for that. But Lislea becomes an official place. The Kingdom of House Damaris. And as is honorary of House Damaris when it originally left the Underdark and picked its sigil and colors, blues and whites and golds, as well as the various eagle and bird iconography, are plastered all over the city. As your throne room is also finished being constructed within Damaris Keep, the Fair Light Throne.
Oh. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Bianca, after finally like having like that day finally come, and then this happens to just be like ready, you know, all at the same time, I think she'll just like take a breather here, like looking at the throne and just like admiring like the work of the people, and feeling extremely like humbled that their happiness is all coming together, that this is all coming together. And I don't know, she'll like walk up to the actual throne itself and like kind of pulling a twig, sorry Gemma, but like before she sits in it, obviously she would like kind of run her hands along it and again like take a long time looking at it before she like just by herself just like takes a seat and just admires a little bit and feels at peace after these, what'd you say, 5 months of negotiation?
Yes. A long time to be politicking. And there were times you would have rather been facing down the very worst demons and devils the hells had to offer.
She was like, combat was so much easier.
At least it was over in 18 seconds. This is so long.
Right, just once. Yeah, she'll just take a moment there and just...
Yeah. As you sit, you have a few moments alone. You hear the throne doors begin to open. And you brace yourself knowing that it's probably going to be more investors asking for more things, or maybe more people now from another place in the kingdom claiming that they used to have noble ties to the royal houses. But instead, you see one man of deep charcoal gray skin, stark white hair, wearing fine clothes of black, silver, white, with small accents of blue. You see Ildan, Dusong, Damaris. He hasn't decided which one he wants to go by yet.
That's fair.
But he enters the throne and he looks around and you just hear him let out this long whistle. Wow, look at this place.
It's incredible.
It is.
And she'll get up and like walk over to him.
Yeah. He'll hug you immediately.
Yeah. It's not done, but kinda done. At least the start of the end, or the end to the start, however you want to put it, I guess. But signed everything today. This is ready.
I heard.
Despite these past few months, I still don't know, still can't comprehend this whole room being full and what for, but...
Well,
I'm sure in due time. I'm sure you'll learn, and I'm sure there will be more than enough occasions that'll keep you busy here.
Do you remember what it looked like when you were little? I know that was a very long time ago, but...
Not like this, I know. Everything felt colder back then. No. The halls were empty. No one was allowed within the keep. She'd been so paranoid, I think. In fact, she'd barely see me. She was afraid that maybe one of the servants or captain of her guard would have tried to persuade me to strike at her in a moment of weakness. I was a kid. I just wanted to see my mom. But the past doesn't matter anymore. Not that past, at least. What really matters now is you and this. You are the only family I have left. And I just want you to know that I'm so proud of you. And I'm so thankful that you grew up to be such an amazing young woman.
I'm sorry if this all brought along an amount of pain. I know it must not be easy reliving. It must not have been easy reliving it, and everything was Mom. But I hope it's somehow being here and knowing this land is okay and our history is gonna be okay. I hope that's something. I don't know, in a way it feels bittersweet.
It is, but pain is a part of healing. And that's what's happening here. The land, this keep, you and me. And as the two of you kind of sit there in that moment, Bianca, you can hear, he left the door open, but you can hear a group of people beginning to walk down the hall looking for you. And in this last small moment with you and your dad, probably one of the last moments alone the two of you will have, is there anything else you wanted to say, or did you just want to drink in this last moment of silence?
No, yeah, she'll take his hands and say, this was originally, this journey I left on was for me. But I hope you know that in the end it turned out to be much bigger than that. So much bigger. And I wish I could have given more to Mom, but all of this is yours, okay? Always.
He'll just give you a hug at that. As Bianca, like nails on a chalkboard. My queen, actually, there was one more thing I want, my queen, actually, there was a letter, a raven that came in today. No, my queen, actually, this is much more important. I received a sending spell from Suna. She was wondering when you'd be able to make the journey over to Akai City for some delegations.
All right, let's go into the conference room. I don't know why I said conference room. That's definitely not it. Into the I don't know, words into where they've been
Maybe
doing
the
this.
throne room.
We're in the throne room. There's nowhere to
It's a great
be.
place to discuss
The
politics.
council room, council
The
hall.
council chambers.
Hall. I don't know where they have been meeting.
I want to
Take
imagine that was all in game.
I mean, Bianca
First
could call it the
official
conference
day.
room, and then now it's a new thing.
Yeah.
No,
the
that
fucking
feels
queen.
like too corporate.
Are you zooming in?
Let's go talk to HR about this.
All right.
But yeah, she'll squeeze her dad's hand and then
Mhm.
lead them out of the throne room.
Yeah, of course. So, by the way, thank you, Knights of the Silver Moon, for the raid. It was very kind of you, much appreciated. Always happy to see you here. However, Bianca, as you are finishing up your, delegations for the day, stamping the letters, signing them, as finally the last advisor leaves, you can see there is an individual that is approaching the throne room again, except you recognize the heavy footfalls of Ajax.
It's a cat. They're not that heavy. But,
Well, it's like, listen, okay, Trouble's a big cat too, and he goes boom, boom, boom when he walks. All right, bro's got armor on.
no, they're pretty heavy footfalls. Ajax kind of leans in and says,
I don't wish to bother you, my queen, but do you have a little bit of time?
Please bother me.
All right.
You also don't have to call me my queen. I'm still Bianca. It's okay.
he walks in and
Should I shut the door?
Please, tight, lock it.
he latches it so that people can't come in. Walks over.
You've been pretty busy. It's been hard to see you. How are you doing?
Good. Yes, being busy, it's been a lot, but I'm happy to, in a way, to just be putting things in motion. And today was a big day, so everything's official. We're all unified, Lisle, so. And this is all ready now, so things are good. But what have you been up to? I know you've been keeping busy.
I have. I've also had my fair share of talks with the, neighboring cities and towns. I've been thinking of a new way to build our guard and army. I haven't fallen on a definitive answer yet, but I think we're almost there.
I trust you.
I hope.
Well, whenever you have something to, I guess, pitch or present or whatever, I'm all ears.
Yes, I should have something in maybe a month or two. I came into here to ask you a question, actually. Before everything ramps up and we start this new guard and army, I was wondering if you would go on a small trip with me.
I could definitely use a break. Yes, where are we going?
Well, I don't want to lie. We will be going to pretty depressing places. There are...
Doing this to me.
I'm sorry.
No,
There are
it's all good.
a few places that I wanted to stop by that I have not been to in a while. Some I haven't been to it ever. Grave sites. There's Amelia's. And I have companions from the Children of the Flame that I want to pay homage to. I don't think I can do it by myself.
I will happily and easily go with you for these. And you really asked the right person. I'm unfortunately quite comfortable around the dead, so.
Oddly
You got
enough. I appreciate it. Plus, you can get away from all of this.
In a way, it's really wonderful, you know, seeing our hard work really pay off. I can't wait for everybody to be here and see this.
They will. And what you have done so far is awe-inspiring.
It's very humbling. But yes, let's go. I'll wrap up a few things here, and I mean, we put people in charge for a reason, so anything they need in my brief absence will be handled.
Hey, we can leave in the morning.
Perfect.
Good night.
And she will depart and go get a few things ready so that no one's losing their mind when she's gone.
All right, sounds good.
Prepping for that PTO.
Ajax also has to talk to some of the higher ranking guards and be like, hey, keep an eye out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. And Ajax, over the past few months, as you've been going to various towns and cities, there are a few people that have caught your attention that seems like they would fit the bill for what you're looking for. And my question is there anywhere in particular you've been sending them, or anyone in particular Ajax knows that he would have sent them to kind of begin maybe doing a little bit of training with?
Some of them, if they were nearby a maester, would have been sent to maester to train with, oh my god, what's her name?
The Order of the All-Seeing Lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
On top of that, he has someone in Belka that he promoted to captain of the guard, which he would have talked to recently, and would have promoted them higher than captain of the guard. I don't know what that would be, but like, he would basically be in charge of like multiple cities or towns outside of Belka and that whole thing.
Yeah.
Zeno, one of Ajax's oldest friends. They would go to train with him. And just like, there's not like, you know, there's people that he would have met that he feels comfortable training them, or like sending them off to train with people in various cities. Maybe during those couple months, he actually picked a few of those higher ranking and trained with them so that they could then train other people. Basically, you know, put the regiment down and then, you know, take my teachings and go forth.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's just shaped like a funnel, honestly, because it's Ajax, and then the teaching goes up. You know, more people can teach more people. Okay, awesome. So yeah, Ajax, you do take the time, and I'd say at this point, after about 6 months of doing this, you probably have close to 500 people you found that in one way or another, they cut it. Some aren't nearly as strong as others, so you definitely do already have a bit of a structure that's coming to mind, where you can have, you know, smaller regiments or maybe one large regiment with 5 different command, however you want to split it up. But you have a good amount of people so far, and it's only growing, especially as people hear more about it. More people are coming to, you know, Liliana and to Zeno asking to join, asking to be a part of this. So who knows? By the end of next year, who knows where it's going to be? But The two of you pack your things and you head specifically for which of the two locations, John? I believe.
I think the first one
in
okay,
Bromsgrove,
you
right?
Tell me. It would be the Children of the Flame people first, I think.
Which is Bromsgrove. Okay, cool. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Nice. Alrighty. So as the two of you prepare, easy enough, you're able to send a message to Bromsgrove, and the teleportation circle within Maester you're able to use in order to get to Bromsgrove rather quickly. However, before we dive into that moment, we are going to take a quick break, just a little short, a little 5-minute thing. Let's go ahead and say 30 your time, and then we will come back in and we will finish out this downtime, which most of the rest of it is narrated after we get back. Not much else of it is RP'd tonight. So thanks for watching so far, and we will be right back.
To finish the story.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and they get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because
we're back. We are back. Let's go ahead and dive in. So we're just going to keep on going with downtime. No need to summarize what just happened. You just saw it. We're gonna start with
so flirtatious. Like what? Okay, all right, I'm good. I'm sorry.
This is D&D after hours. So Ajax, gotta set the tone for what Ajax is about to do.
Graveyards.
I'm just kidding.
Visit graves. Yeah.
So Ajax and Bianca, the two of you, teleport to Romskrov, and
we do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's sick.
And you know what? I'm a bit of a silly Billy.
Why we gotta end like this?
Because that's the one image I did not upload to this flim-flamming thing. So
fucking flim-flam.
I'm just gonna have to do that. I'm just gonna have to throw it in the chat, and you guys are just gonna have to use your imagination or something. So the two of you teleport in to Bromsgrove, the beautiful, sprawling, tall, white spires that shoot up from the mountainside up to the sky, with the largest tower of them all reaching further than all of them, and you all can see not the flame of Nibir Tarman, but embers. Flame so incredibly weak, barely hanging on. It still burns, but barely. But with that, all of you make your way, the two of you make your way throughout the city streets until eventually you arrive in the home of the Children of the Flame, and you make your way out of those halls of new recruits, which, by the way, is bustling with activity. In fact, I think by the time you guys arrive, Morwen and Hrothgar would actually be here as well. So there's a small moment of catch-up between, you and Bianca, you and Morwen, but also Ajax, you're finally able to meet Morwen, and you're able to catch up with Hrothgar. As the two of you do have a small passing knowing of each other. However, you do then enter the halls of the extinguished. These are people who fought within the ranks of the Children of the Flame who sadly perished, and whose bodies were honored here. Those individuals that did not have families either to go home to, or that wanted their bodies to be entombed here, as they could think of no greater honor. And Ajax, there is one in particular that you make your way towards. So, as you enter that room where you know their tomb to be, you can see white marbled stone sarcophagus trimmed with gold and the crest of the Children of the Flame inlaid onto the stonework. And you look to the lid of the sarcophagus just for verification, and there you see Vorik, the man, your mentor.
Bianca, you've never heard of Vorik. Ajax never talked about him. But as Ajax gets closer, you can see that he is slightly trembling. And before he gets to the sarcophagus, he places his shield, his spear down and his shield on top, about 15 feet away on the ground, and walks over and places his hand on it and looks down.
Hi, old friend. You know, I've been afraid to come here. Afraid of the guilt, of facing how I couldn't save you. But I'm here now. And I realize I can't carry that burden forever. You changed my life. Taught me everything I know. Every battle I fought. Every decision I make. It's all because of you. You were more than a mentor to me, Vorik. You were a father. But I've held on to this guilt for too long. And I know that you wouldn't want that. You'd want me to stand tall. To live with strength in the honor that you taught me. As much as it hurts that you are gone, I will never forget you. Your legacy lives on in me, in every fight, in every life I protect. Thank you, Vorik. And rest well, old friend. I'll find you when I find my peace too.
And Ajax kind of leans down and kisses the sarcophagus and puts his hand on it, pats it. And then he looks to a number of the tombs around. First thing he does is, in his braided hair, he starts to undo one of the braids. And it is just a piece of metal. Just like steel almost. Broken, almost in the L shape. A piece of a belt. And he places that in front of Vorik's tomb. And then he walks over to another tombstone and takes out a feather that he's had braided in his hair and places it in front of that tomb. Places his hand on it. And he walks to another and takes what looks like 3 pieces of chainmail armor that were braided in and unbraids and takes it down and puts it in front of another tomb. He takes out beads of runes in his hair. He goes to another tomb and places it down. And Bianca would see that Ajax goes to about 7 of these tombs. And by the time everything's done, his hair is almost all the way unbraided, except for maybe 2 things. And he kind of steps back and just kind of sits at one of the nearby benches and just starts to cry.
Yeah. I think Bianca would go up to him and sit next to him on those benches and kind of like, after he's, had a moment to cry, and maybe when he's beginning to like wipe his tears, she'll say, I'm really glad you brought me here. I didn't know anything about Vorik. And I know it's hard not being able to see these people, talk with them, but you were right about Vorik living on through you, through every battle. But to amplify that even more, and I know it's hard to do so, I struggle with it as well, but talking about your memories with these people, even if it's sad or hard, keeps them alive. It doesn't just have to be you who carries these memories. You can let them live on in me and the rest of our little family. Would you tell me a story about Vorik or anyone else here? Whatever you're comfortable saying.
I would love to.
And I would say that Ajax kind of goes on a long tangent about how, and as he talks about it, Bianca, he talks about the times that Vorik trained him, and how Vorik was very like strict about things, but also lighthearted at times. And as he talks about it, you literally hear the way that he's trained each of you, like to a T. And he would go on for like 30 minutes about this one story and just say,
It always ended at the end of every day. in the same room, with him making tea, us drinking it together, mending my wounds and telling me to get ready for tomorrow. It will be harder, but we'll have fun. I never knew what the fun part was. He was a great mentor.
It sounds like it. But it also sounds like I've actually gotten to know him. And she'll kind of like bump your shoulder.
You know, I never would have had the courage to come back to this place if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for Cecily and Suni and Carasilla. I've learned so much from all of you.
I'm glad I had something that you could learn from.
Just one thing.
I feel like most of my bravery I learned from you. Happy to give back a little bit then.
Thank you for coming.
Of course. And keep telling me about your friends. I feel like so much of our friendship has been you guiding and helping me. But I'm definitely ready and able to help you. I want to know more about what makes Ajax Ajax.
If I tell you all the stories, you might get a little overwhelmed with just like all those council meetings.
No. I don't think I'll be too overwhelmed by just knowing more about my friend.
Well, I'll tell you all of the stories you want to know.
Whenever you're ready, I'm here.
Well, we have a long journey to the next place, so...
I have not been back to Belka in so long.
Me either.
Yeah, that'll be a fun time to see what it's like going back after everything.
Well, if you would like, we don't really have to go into the city. I believe the cemeteries are near the outskirts.
No, it'd be good to go back. It's part of the kingdom now, so... Just gonna be different.
Let me say one last goodbye, and we'll go.
Of course, I wish I could offer something, but I think you just telling me more about them. I'll just kind of get to know them through you. I think that might be honor enough. And she'll kind of give him some space to say his goodbyes.
Ajax says his goodbyes and pats the sarcophagus one more time and grabs his things, and as we're walking out, immediately starts telling stories about all the individuals that Bianca saw him go to, and from his very first time in the Children of the Flame at the age of 17 onward until I think he stopped around like almost 30 something. So there's a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay, fantastic. So, let me investigate my list here. Okay. So there's a lot more narrated stuff in year 2. So here's what we're going to do. There are 3 more RP things for this session. But I want to make sure that we end close to on time. So those 3 RP things are Caracella's meeting with the Hidden Flame and the Children of the Flame. Bianca and Ajax going to Belka for the second grave, and Suni's conversation with Forsaken Suni. We will do those 3 things specifically next session, because I don't think 10 minutes is enough time for any one of those 3 things, and I don't want to rush any one of them. So we'll go ahead and go through the narrated points here of things that everybody's getting onto in those last 3 months of the year before the end of the year. So specifically, Ajax, once you get back from Belka and you feel as though your training of your troops is getting closer to being done, you actually begin to head out into various places around the Salamander coast, around Tarkir and Iberion, Theral, and in Afera. You kind of make your way around those different places, making alliances, leaderships, potentially even recruiting more people for this group that you are founding within, not within Bella Clara, but within, gotta say the name right. Don't tell me. Lislea. It's just gonna take me a second.
Yeah.
So within Lislea, and most people are happy to either leave their homes for, the prospect of doing something great, or, to be trained by the Ajax, Polemos. Why would I not, But specifically Ajax, over the course of about a month, you leave your recruiting and you go to one of the strongest warriors because there's something that you need help with. Not only is she the strongest warrior you have ever seen, but she is the most she's full of constitution. As during the fight against Emeril and the Forsaken, the Creator, most of you were bloodied and battered and about ready to keel over, and standing above all of you, barely scratched, was Alex Silverfoot, daughter of Logan Silverfoot, Warden of Congiato, and unifier of the tribes of Afera. So you seek out Alex Silverfoot. Not only is she a masterful combatant with the sword and with her rage as a barbarian, but also she is a monk with this mindful mastery. And that's what you're looking for help with. You can wield weapons with deft precision, but Alec, over the course of about a month, helps you gain better control of your mind. As you know, that's your one weakness. And instead of trying to ignore it, you face it head on, and like day in, day out, in something that feels very similar to how Vorik trained you, Alec is persistent. And in fact, there are spans of time where you're actually training with Poe also. Luckily, you're able to outpace Poe. Love him, but he's not quite on your level yet, Ajax. But you do train with Alec, and by the end of that month, going right up into December or Winter Court, your training completes, and Ajax, with the help of Varnast and Morganix, who takes a little bit of time to help as well, and Torin, who you see is healthy and safe now, which is good. Each one of them try different sort of mentally debilitating powers on you, and it is a bit of a difficult ride at first, but eventually you find the will within you to, even if you fail initially and succumb to it, you're able to sort of harbor this inner strength and end the effect. So, Ajax, for any status effect, mentally debilitating status effect that is caused by a wisdom saving throw, an intelligence saving throw, or a charisma saving throw, you can, at the end of your turn, you can use not at the end of turn, you can use an action to end that effect. So it's very similar to the monk's stillness of mind ability, but it's any mentally debilitating status effect. You can choose to end that. The only things that wouldn't be affected are things like Feeble Mind that have like a month-long duration. That's something that you wouldn't be able just to stop. But if it's like paralysis caused by hold person, you can do that. Dominate person due to a failed charisma saving throw, you can end that. Things like that.
Sick.
Yep. Alec.
Thanks, Afera crew.
Yeah. The one thing I will say here is at the end of it, Alec takes you deep into the jungles, just you and her. And there is a specific creature within this, within the jungle of Kanjiato, the place where she's from, that has been attacking All's Crossing, a very large town. And it has been like mind controlling the people of that town and causing them to walk out to be eaten. As much as she hates to slaughter a creature like that, it needs to be put down. It's been corrupted by the Dark One, or by the dark energies of the world, I should say. I don't need to have that guise up anymore. So you go out and you hunt this creature. It does dominate you 2 or 3 times, but you're able to steel yourself, stillness of mind, and eventually you and Alec defeat it. You can see she takes her great sword that belonged to her father, jams it into the chest of the creature, and carves the chest open, ripping the flesh and breaking the rib cage. And you see she reaches in and pulls out the still beating heart of this bestial creature. And you can see she... And then she gestures it to you for you to also take a heart, as just blood all over her mouth, chewing on the gristly heart. She says, "You have slain a great beast, and you have learned much. Eat, harvest its power, and never let it dominate you again." Holds the heart with a chunk missing out of it.
I feel less bad about this because of Ajax being a Leonin, so he grabs the heart.
Yeah.
And just, all right.
It is, imagine beef jerky, but just like even harder to chew. It is just all muscle and fiber and it's also warm and wet. It's very gross, but you eat the heart. She doesn't make you eat all of it. She just makes you take a bite. She knows that not everybody's like her. Not everybody's built like her. But after that, the two of you skin the beast. You take the materials you can, deliver them to All's Crossing, and you return back to your duties with this new ability. We'll also say, Ajax, you end up going to Iverion around the end of December. You speak with King Kjaldarson as a representative of Bianca, and you know that Bianca has already made a stop to Talamir, but you wanted to go say hi yourself. But when you get there, her steward, Isabella, Lady Isabella, tells you that currently none of the Forerunners are here right now. They are, and you see she kind of like stutters and stops and says, they're in the Astral Sea, in a place where it's always Wintermas, because Lila's getting married.
Oh, that's wonderful news.
And she just says, most people,
You
when I tell them, don't believe me.
I've seen worse. A lot worse.
So, yeah, you have a brief moment with her. You do meet, well, no one else is there, actually. There's, like, nobody there, because everybody went.
Everybody's at the wedding, baby.
Yeah.
Man, you don't even get to meet Danny. That's so sad for you.
That's so sad. I was hoping to... Yeah. All right, well, so that happens. Those are the kind of two narrated things that Ajax does. Yeah?
While Ajax is over there, he wants to pick up some more Kingdoms and Castles cards because he actually has some sets.
You know what? They've started selling them in Oakcarn, Twig City.
Yep. He grabs
You also see advertisements that there's going to be a competition, like a Kingdoms and Castles competition in Talamir next year.
Noted. Ajax notes that.
Joe, can Bianca be in the Kingdoms and
Yeah, and you can lose.
Sure.
Fucking no one's coming for my bitch ass.
Sure.
No.
Okay. So there's that. Bianca, you do make your way over to Adarashi. You have many conversations with Suna about the best way, considering that you and Loshar are the two closest nations. You do everything you can to make sure that relationship is healthy and is going to grow as much as it can. So you have those conversations, and honestly, she's just happy. She's in a very similar position to you, where she's just happy to talk to a friend,
Yeah.
and not a political delegate.
I imagine, when you're like only two people like get a certain situation, so you're just like sitting there talking, complaining. It's like if anyone else entered the room, they'd be like, I don't know how to contribute to this conversation. I feel like they have that now.
That's exactly it. Exactly. So that's what the other thing that Bianca gets up to. Cecily, you do towards the end of your foray into the sort of first half of the southern portion of Jormungandr, Thrud does actually stop and make a visit. And she spends a lot of time with you. The two of you do some you do your own kind of little mini adventure in some of the different villages, as Tyr kind of goes off and does his own thing with Freya. The two of you get together and you have some girls' time, you and your cousin, I guess.
Yeah. We're going clothes shopping with my cousin.
Yeah. You guys fly around because both of you can pretty much fly. And you have a good time together. You do a little bit of, she complains about Thor, but she also complains about Odin, like absolutely tears into the guy. It's so funny because Tyr is like, he has a good spirit deep down. He's so, we just need to find it. And Thrud's like, this guy's such a dick. I hate him so much.
Oh yeah, Cecily's gonna love that. Be like, yeah, Tyr's been gone a while. He doesn't get. He don't get it. It's bad.
But she does tell you that Odin does seem to be softening. He can feel that shift in the world that you all have felt, and he knows just because he's seen a lot and he's read a lot and he's heard a lot about what happened. He's starting to realize that he was wrong, and that's what he's having the hard time getting over. But Thrud says he's getting closer, and hopefully within the next month or so, he should be in a better place to talk and accept that Tyr is back.
I'm going to gush about Poe and ask if she has any boys.
She tells you not yet. And, honestly, she's what she tells you. She's not sure if she's into boys. They're a little too soft, at least the ones in Jormungandr. In fact, most people that she meets are too soft for her.
All right. Cecily will then gush about her, air quotes, best friend when she was 13 at the orphanage.
Yeah.
She gets it.
Yeah. So
just introduce Thrud and Alec.
Okay, wait. Wait a minute. Everybody pause. That could work.
Beating the shit out of each other all the time.
They would love it.
Dude, double date at the dojo.
I think actually, I always forget Alec is only like 19 or something like that. So is Thrud. That's. Oh my god.
I see
Alec
sparks
is 19
fly.
at this current moment.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, she was like 17 when her village got raided.
Trauma makes you strong. That's the lesson here.
It's tough. I always forget that. I always feel like she's 200 years old. Okay, so there's that. Carasilla. Like I said, we will get to your Hidden Flame stuff next week, but in terms of things that are narrated, you and Alton, actually, because he's along for the ride now. I mean, now that you're not in danger every day, he's going to be by your side each every single day. And he's going to, for one, try and learn an instrument that he thinks sounds really good with a hurdy-gurdy. So that way the two of you can play music together.
Easy choose.
This is tough because I'm trying to think about what would sound good with a hurdy-gurdy. I think he would maybe choose. Oh, you know what he would choose? I think he would really like an accordion, actually.
Oh my god, yes! Let's fucking go.
This is so cute.
I think he would really like it because it also looks kind of ridiculous, just like a hurdy-gurdy.
Hell yeah.
And so, yeah,
Iconic.
he would start learning the accordion as the two of you begin to travel the world, and just helping where you can. You know, whether it be to spread joy and laughter, or whether there be people in danger and you help them. You go all throughout the the continent of Eridane, to Thrall, to Afera, to the Gemstone, to Calderaz. I mean, you go anywhere and everywhere that needs your help. There are even a few times where, using the technology from the Arcans, per the request of Isles, or the Forerunners, the two of you might even go to different planes of existence, just to see those places, to bring your stories there and to help people there. There are probably 10 or 20 patches Carasilla can add to the cloak of different places she's been, of different materials from those places. So there's that. And then finally, one of the last narrated things, eventually Suni would be able to make his way to the Hearthstone and would be able to have a conversation with Keothi, and would finally be able to see that tree that Cecily had seen. And Suni, the one thing I'll say for you is when you go to that tree that Cecily was at, and you can see like this crater in the middle of the Hearthstone, this tree that melds with stone, you can feel such a deep connection to that seed within you. And you know that even if Elwyn no longer lives, the essence of the Mother of Mountains lives on in that tree, in the Hearthstone. And that does provide you some comfort in your decision.
Big tree, yay.
Yay. But those were, let me double check real quick. Yep, no, okay. Those were all the narrated year one things. And as winter eventually comes around, all of you are able to make your way back to the city of Maester, for just a little get together between friends, as all of you exchange Wintermas gifts and are able to spend a little bit of time together, in this Yuletide season, thankful to have one another. Even though tomorrow may be uncertain, at least tonight, you have your companions, you have your friends, and you can enjoy that moment without worrying about what comes next. And on that note, that's where we're going to go and end tonight's session. We will be back next week to finish out Downtime. I hope we might have to stretch it out, or maybe next week we just have to do the RP moments, and then the narrated ones I just have to go through really quick, which I hate to rob you guys of that, but I don't know, we'll just kind of have to see where we're at after those 3 moments that we're going to start with next week. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I know I did. It was a lot of fun. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Tales of Everend. And I'm not sure if it will be this Saturday. Okay, this Saturday we will have Isles, but it looks like there's going to be one that we'll miss, and I'll share that with you guys after we end the stream. But thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time.